Hey everyone, Nicole here from Whittle Grove, and today I'm going to be talking you through my vegetable garden goals for 2023. So the vegetable gardens behind me are very, very bare at the moment, and if you've been following my YouTube shorts, you may have seen that it has been hot. As I've mentioned before, I live in regional Western Australia, and summer here can be absolutely brutal. It was only a few weeks ago that I was out here watering the garden at 7:30 at night, and it was still 36 degrees Celsius, which I think is like approaching 100 degrees F. I don't know Fahrenheit. So that leaves me with what to do for 2023. But before we can go into 2023, we probably need to look back to the start of 2022. So while it looks like I haven't really achieved much in the form of the vegetable garden, where I'm standing now, it was this time a year ago that I decided would be time to start building the veggie gardens. And this area was just plain and full of weeds and grass. And look, I guess if we're honest, it's still pretty full of weeds and grass. But the main purpose to me was to just set up one bed. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of people do talk about how a big mistake people make is that they go all in. And I'll link a video up here which shows you the lessons I learned when starting my vegetable garden. So over the course of the year, I slowly expanded on my garden. I filled out the first garden bed, then came mid-year and I ordered these Birdie's beds here. So I've got a large one and a small one. But as I've mentioned before, I really stupendously underestimated the cost of trying to get in soil and mulch to fill out this spot. I had a lot of people after I made that video talk about how it's easier to buy it in bulk, but a big issue I have here is accessibility. So where I'm sitting right now, I'm the black spot on the top of a hill, which means I have an amazing view of the ocean, but I have no access up here. So to come up here and water, I have to actually climb the wall to get in here. So my first goal for 2023, which I really feel like I've still got 11 months to do this, is I really just want to fill this garden bed in time for a lovely winter garden. And I know that seems counterproductive to a lot of my Northern Hemisphere viewers who might be going, "What? It's winter, you don't grow in winter." Thankfully, I live in a really beautiful arid climate, and last year I did most of my growing in winter and I was so impressed. It was so easy because watering wasn't an issue. Heat wasn't an issue. If anything, it got a tad cold, but not cold enough that my tomatoes didn't absolutely thrive. So that brings me to my second goal for 2023, and that is sorting out my watering situation. I absolutely love manually watering everything, but if the end of 2022 taught me anything, it is that it's not always feasible, and I really do need a backup plan. Like I said, this area is up on a wall with no access. There's no steps or ladder or anything like that. So I have to climb up here. It gets hot, and sometimes life happens and you're unexpectedly away for short periods of time. So I really need to sort out a reticulation option, even if it's just something as basic as a couple of sprinklers that I can just, swap a hose and bam, they're all set up. I just need something that's a little bit better than me coming up here once and twice a day, it really should have been sometimes, to water everything, because that is why my garden bed, my usual pride and joy garden bed, is so sparse at the moment, because I just didn't give it the water it needs. Goal number 3, of course, speaking of that small bed, one of them, I'm going to say lessons, and I feel like any gardening YouTuber, like veggie garden YouTuber worth their salt would tell you this, and it's not an event, is to really invest in quality compost or quality soil. So I decided before my spring garden, when I finally got home and things settled down, that I would pop some compost on the top of it. Sounds good in theory, but in practice, I did what they tell you not to do, and I bought really cheap, crappy compost just from the local big box store. And for whatever reason, one side of the garden bed just is not producing at all. Like, I've had several seeds die in there, or just not even start at all. So I'm trying again now that it's been a few months, but yeah, I really need to make sure that I'm investing in better compost, which when you're trying to fill beds of this size isn't ideal. And some of you might be wondering why I'm not doing compost. I live on my own. most of the time, and there just isn't enough stuff. Like, I just don't produce enough stuff. So I'll happily throw it in the garden beds when I'm starting them, but yeah, that's it really. The stretch goal, we shall call it, for 2023 is I would like to add a 4th garden bed down below so I can use it as a herb bed. So I have my cool little palette garden over there, which is exploding with strawberries, and it looks like my Monstera adansonii is currently like attaching to it, so it looks really cool. But the problem is, in summer, weirdly, it just doesn't get enough sunlight, and I'm really enjoying growing herbs at the moment, but they're just not getting enough light. So I'd like to add something maybe small and slender there that doesn't involve me climbing up a hill to harvest things, because when I'm in the kitchen, I don't want to be coming out here and climbing up here, you know, it's not ideal. But yes, definitely a stretch goal at the moment, but that is dead space, not doing anything except harboring weeds and probably resentment from my neighbors because of said weeds. But yes, so that's the stretch goal. Aside from that though, I've really enjoyed veggie gardening way more than I thought I would. It's been very therapeutic. And as I mentioned in that mistakes video, it's really nice to be able to add a little bit more sustainability into my everyday life, and also not having to go to the shop and wallet drop for things that are pretty cheap and easy to grow at home. So that's it for me. They are my 4 veggie garden goals for 2023. I can't wait to check back in December and see how I actually went. I'd love to hear what your goals are down in the comments. It always fascinates me when I see how the gardening process differs for everyone, especially based on location. I've been Nicole from Whittle Grove. If you've liked what you've seen, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment so we can keep the conversation going. That's it for me. Have fun out there, gang. My legs are sore. My old lady knees can't handle standing like this. Oh.